Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to Business Today. I'm Jorapol Sonko with Winnie Williams and Akauchi in Sign Language. Let's first of all look at our headlines for the Business Today. Tonight, in Business Today, the oil and gas opportunities, national content portfolio in the oil and gas sector to be exploited as sector players push for capacity building through scaling. Also, Karamoja Relief inquest yields as Karamoja Relief probe forces reaction. House Speaker Anita Among finds way out of looming hell as she returns 500 iron sheets. And in clean energy efficiency, the NGO's banking sector take on initiative to enforce Uganda's approach towards climate protection. Clean cooking mechanisms have been embarked on. And now let's have the news in full details as we start with the opportunities in the oil and gas sector. As the development phase in the oil and gas sector fully materializes, national content opportunities keep springing up among major projects such as the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Project, the Kingfisher and Tilenga. This in turn has prompted the scaling up to tap into such productive areas. Martha Nimsima has details.
From Tullow and other initial exploration companies to Total, Sinok, and other oil and gas expert players, the development of Uganda's oil and gas has registered significant growth, opening up opportunities in the emerging oil sector presented by local and foreign investment. With over 160,000 jobs providing support services such as transport and logistics, engineering, national content in the sector is awaited to spur economic growth for dockets such as manufacturing, transport, construction, and capacity building, among other areas.
And we are targeting very high level of performance. The facility we are building is the most advanced and will embark all the best technology, available technology in our business. So you will have the chance to start with a wonderful industrial tool, the best that you can dream of. But after you need to run this tool efficiently and to deliver the performance. The first one is Pioneer Spirit. Our industry is about technology, is about reinventing, finding new solutions, etc. Is about technology.
While the economic growth through improved government revenue from taxes and royalties, plus foreign direct investment is a likely possibility. This in return is expected to create additional job opportunities in areas such as infrastructure development, education, and healthcare.
Government has invested close to $20 million since inception. We recently had tremendous support from the Albertine Region Sustainable Development Project supported by the World Bank, where we've been able to acquire state-of-the-art equipment and workshops that will facilitate your training once you come on board.
With the potential to become a major oil producer in the region, Uganda is bound to attract more attention for international oil sector players. This has in turn opened up opportunities in the oil and gas sector.
The fact that Total has recruited the trainees for this program, mainly to participate in the production, the maintenance, mechanical and the instrumentation bit of the production elements. I expect Total to be able to enable and enlarge on the capacities and the skills to be able to build further and to improve on the skills that the trainees have already put in, and not only to let the training remain as it is, as your training for the production remain at that level. So I expect something far much beyond.
Investment in infrastructure and other affiliate sectors is anticipated to spiral as the oil and gas sector gains weight. Martha Nimsima, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Meanwhile, the Energy Ministry and banking sector have taken on the initiative to enforce Uganda's approach towards climate protection. The current approach through a clean development mechanism, just as it is for developing countries, is to enforce clean energy uptake. Rona Nahabwe has more.
Forest cover loss in Uganda stands at 2.6% annually, one of the highest in the world. According to the 2016-17 Uganda National Household Survey, more than 80% of Uganda's rural households use firewood for cooking, and the high demand provide reason for the degradation. A catalytic fund offering up to 50% without interest has been set aside for businesses that intend to invest in clean cooking solutions, implemented by SNV, Makerere University, PSFU, and the Ministry of Energy.
In a way, I wanted to change the solar in the school and my improved cook stove in this secondary school to improve on my firewood use, to be able to manage the energy bills. But there is a project that is giving me 50% of the 35 million that I wanted to spend. So if it's giving me 50%, Postbank, won't you be interested in giving me this money? And Postbank will quickly run for him.
The investment from the Inclusive Markets for Energy Efficiency in Uganda and the Modern Cooking Solutions is meant to make clients adapt to clean cooking solutions, with financing from 100,000 to about billions of loans as expressed by the involved financial institutions.
The bank is trying to do on whoever is doing a project, trying to conserve the environment. The bank is willing to support depending on your capacity to pay that facility, because it's not a grant or something, it's a loan that is meant to be paid back. So we are starting from our retail customers. Those are the high end, those people who import these equipments, the solar lamps, the micro, the how do you call the pressure cookers, anything that is really looking at conserving or clean, reducing the emissions in terms of carbon, reducing on the power consumption. The bank is willing to finance you from 100,000 shillings to the maximum invoice you can have.
Of late, the prices of charcoal and firewood have been going up. Actually, charcoal is becoming more scarce. It's an indication that as our population grows, we cannot continue using the same amount of charcoal we've been using. The demand has been increasing, and therefore we need to go clean, start cooking with less of the traditional forms like biomass, but I think much more with electricity.
The low uptake of energy-efficient technologies and services, as characterized by barriers, for instance, limited access technology, it is bound to be partly addressed by the Modern Energy Cooking Solutions in the 61 million shillings fund set aside for awareness.
They have some perception that electric pressure cookers, one, they are expensive. Two, it requires a lot of money to use to buy yaka in form of yaka. Three, they think they are not safe, and then the other most important factor is the behavior change, because for them they think that once you cook some food, for example the traditional cooked foods, that is matoke, probably even posho, cannot taste. It loses taste when you cook with the pressure cooker. Yet that's a very wrong perception. When you cook food with pressure cooker, it comes with all the nutrients and all the taste and all the good benefits that come along with it.
Clean energy uptake still remains one clear mitigation option against climate change amidst the growing pollution load responding to human activity, industrialization, among other contributors. Ronan Ahabwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now moving on, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has informed Parliament that she has already returned the 500 iron sheets which were sent to her in Bukedia. 12,200 iron sheets, among other relief logistics such as goats, were embezzled, and more responses expected following criminal investigations as directed by President Museveni. In this report, Semla Hanifa brings us details regarding the Karamoja relief.
In her communication to legislators, Speaker Among has confirmed that she decided to buy 500 iron sheets that were taken to her district. According to the Speaker, she was not aware that the items sent to her were meant for the vulnerable in Karamoja, and thus she decided to buy the allotted 500 sheets and send them back to the office of the Prime Minister. This comes after criminal investigations were laid by the DPP and Uganda Police on the President's directive.
When you receive something from the office of the Prime Minister, you may think maybe it is from disaster. And you may not know whether it is coming from from Karamoja, from Northern, from Tesa, and whichever. And when we receive some of these things, we get it, we think it is in good faith. And our constituencies need them. But because of that, we think, okay, have what belongs to you.
The Speaker's Act has been welcomed by the majority of the legislators, who advised other implicated colleagues to follow suit.
The rest that are adversely mentioned in the saga of iron sheets meant for the vulnerable communities of Karamoja should follow suit. They should equally show remorse, and not only being remorseful, but pick a leaf from you and even go an extra mile to double. Madam Speaker, I'm rival.
Madam Speaker, yesterday the leader of government business was missing here. Even today, she's missing.
I have seen.
And not representative, I mean her in fresh. So I wanted to find out if she has already been arrested, because she took 3,000 iron sheets. She is writing a statement at police, because even today
He's on procedure.
Even today, the main stories in the newspapers is that ministers are going to begin recording statements. I can see Musasi's.
Thank you, Madam Right Honourable Speaker, for that magnanimity. Thank you for that simplicity. Thank you for coming out to show leadership. I pray that all those who received maybe those iron sheets, unintentionally, honestly, it can happen to any one of you, and even me. And you come out to say yes.
As this happens, the 2 weeks that were given to the Committee of Presidential Affairs to investigate this matter have already elapsed. Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's talk about his nuclear energy. President Yoweri Museveni has today graced the African Nuclear Business Platform Conference 2023. The conference is anticipated to cover the development of nuclear energy, a major consideration for energy wealth to influence social, economic advancement in Uganda and Africa at large.
Sustainable development and utilization of these resources necessitates establishing transparent and well-balanced partnerships with key technology providers across the globe. Therefore, this meeting presents a very good opportunity for exploring areas of strategic collaborations between African countries pursuing nuclear energy development and nuclear technology providers to forge a way forward for developing the nuclear industry on the continent.
That will enable Uganda to achieve the global goals of universal access to electricity for all, as spelled out in the Sustainable Development Goal number 7 on the affordable and clean energy. In line with
All right, now away from that, let's look at upholding the small and medium-sized enterprises growth, as the banking sector has rolled out a Green Business Initiative to offer extra support to various sectors such as agriculture, energy, construction, among others. This follows the end of similar initiatives like the Network for Innovation and Sustainability in Agriculture and Tourism, focused on transforming small and medium-sized enterprises. Naomi Mutumba has details.
One of the transformational banking sector initiatives, Network for Innovation and Sustainability in Agriculture and Tourism, whose focus was to transform businesses and enterprises, has ended. The initiative, funded at a tune of 4,305,000 euros from the French Embassy in Uganda for 2 years, mainly supporting women and youth in agroecology and ecotourism, is noted to have supported over 200 businesses. Over 110 youth and women-owned MSMEs have benefited.
I'm pleased that we are closing it because in 2 years the project has managed already to gain base to achieve success, and you have seen today in the visit that we just made.
The project was launched 2 years ago in April 2021 in order to support women and the youth in the sector of agroecology and ecotourism in Uganda. We supported 110 entrepreneurs in the whole country. And we worked basically on 3 main components. The first one was to create a network. So the network is the one called Network for Innovation and Sustainability in Agriculture and Tourism, /NISAT.
Medium, small and micro enterprises in the agroecology and ecotourism sectors have been upheld through the initiative Achieving Growth and Extra Opportunities, as underlined by beneficiaries.
We are in agrotourism, training in agroecology, community extensions, and value addition. It wasn't easy for me to define this before I became a member of NISAT. So on that matter, I want to say thank you to the sponsors of NISAT.
At the closure of NISAT, a new 5-year sustainable development initiative, the Green Business Program is anticipated to support entrepreneurs overcome pandemic setbacks. Over $20 million has been injected to set the Climate Smart program rolling, covering various sectors such as agriculture, construction, among others.
Have been doing a phenomenal job with their businesses. Some of them were sort of stories that we've had were briefcase businesses and have now become formalized businesses with great revenue. And that for us speaks to what we intended to do in the beginning. But also the other very interesting aspect is that of job creation. And it's very amazing to look at young people create jobs for other young people.
What we are doing globally, governments and businesses are allocating resources and money. If you may have heard that the American government has dedicated around $400 billion in subsidies for people tackling clean, providing solutions in clean technology. So now, this creates business opportunity for the people even in our countries, like in Uganda. You've heard about Kira Motors, for example, doing the electric vehicles, the likes of Zembo. So what we ask, how can we scale up such innovations in our economy to create jobs, to improve lives, and all those things? So, in simple terms, somebody who implements a green business model is offering a product or service that tackles climate change, or at least aims to protect the environment.
Over 200 MSMEs are to be incubated, 60% micro, 30% small and 10% large, with over $1 billion is saved for consolidated markets, with over 320,000 households to be transformed. Entrepreneurial product stream is believed to be widened. Naomi Mtumba, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now there's a supplementary budget statement as the Parliamentary Committee on Health previously tossed 31.9 billion shilling supplementary budget from the Health Ministry. Today, a revised quotation of 50 billion shillings is still being denied, calling it unofficial and non-committal, as Samla Hanifa reports.
Last week, the Ministry of Health presented to the committee a supplementary budget of 31.9 billion shillings to cater for 5 items whose priorities included wages and inspection of specialized Luwa Hospital, among others. The denounced budget, however, had to be reset and have Mulago Hospital as a clear priority. Today, the State Minister for Health, Honorable Hanifa Kawoya, presented a 50 billion shillings quotation for the completion of the country's referral hospital.
Honorable Chair, it is therefore my prayer as the leader of this sector that government considers supplementary. The reason we are here to put our case before you, Chair, and members of this committee, that we are in a requirement of 15,480,950,244,000 only to enable this ministry pay for completion of works and the consultancy, and we see that the project goes on.
Members of the committee were, however, displeased with the request, terming it unacceptable as its presentation looked unofficial and non-committal.
When you look at the presentation that has been made by the minister, it's totally unacceptable. There is no letterhead on this document. And this is a request for 15 billion shillings as a supplementary. It is not on a letterhead. Request for a supplementary. It is Mulago, which is the one being supervised, is decent enough to ensure it's on a letterhead.
According to the legislators, the country's national referral hospital is in dire state despite chunks of money appropriated for works, offering no progress in almost 10 years.
Million Ugandans. But there's that person in Amur who comes all the way for an MRI scan. He has gone to Gulu. Gulu refers him to Kampala, and he comes. He doesn't know these things of a consultant. He doesn't know these things of variations and so forth. What the 40 finished product. But right now what we are seeing in Mulago is people come in and you're referred outside to get an MRI scan, a CT scan, and then you come back in. That is absolute madness in terms of planning. And you understand. Now for us, the health committee, the government takes a beating. A loan was procured, and that's what the voter knows, because this is taxpayers' money. They don't know all these things that rock or run into a brick wall and so forth. We want a finished product.
Go Hospital is the face of Uganda's healthcare system, and it has been disfigured since 2014, undergoing reconstruction surgery with no timelines when it will get out of the theater. When I listen to all the presentations that have been made, what is very clear here is that the Ministry of Health is suffering from an outbreak of poor planning and a pandemic of weak supervision.
On the other hand, the chairperson of Roko Construction Limited told the committee that it is true they were challenged in the past, especially during the COVID-19, but they have now resumed works and await government's consultancy.
They've been having the challenges since 2020. So I think, Mr. Chairman, we shouldn't forget that in terms of the past, I think we elaborated in Parliament and with different ministries about what the challenges were. They were also presented to Parliament.
Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now Business Today, just take a break. We return with the Coffee Court discussions.